It's farmers market season, and did you know that in the Portland area alone, we have nearly 40 farmers markets happening every week? But where are they? Which are the best for what? And what are the unspoken rules you might be breaking? Yes, there are rules. Today on CityCast Portland, we're talking with Molly Notarianni, the real-life sister of our lead producer, John Notarianni. But this isn't just nepotism. As the former executive director of the Oregon Farmers Market Fund, she's been in the farm-to-market business for nearly 20 years. And she's here to answer all of our questions. It's Tuesday, May 22nd. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Welcome, Molly. I've heard a lot about you and your outdoor sauna from John. He's a big fan. Before we jump in, could you just answer why someone should shop at a farmer's market over going to, say, like a local grocery store?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think there are so many reasons. And the number one reason is that, it's just more fun. Do you want to go walk around, Freddy's, or do you want to be at a farmer's market? I think, when you're going to a farmer's market, you're buying directly from the person who grew or who made or who produced your food. And so that has a ton of benefits. It's going to be a lot fresher. Usually things at farmers markets are like a day at most after harvest, and at grocery stores it's like 13 plus days. So you think of those like clamshells of salad greens you get that just like turn to goo. I feel like you don't have that at farmers markets. You're also there's no middle person. So 100% of the money you're spending is going directly to these farmers, these small food artisans. Whereas at a grocery store, it's maybe like 15 cents on the dollar. There are certain things that maybe are too fragile to ship across the country that have like a really small growing season, or maybe it's a new food business that is just growing on making a special product on a small scale. And so they haven't been picked up by stores yet. And then you can have these conversations with the people who are making your food. So you might see a vegetable you've never seen before and be like, dude, what's the deal? How do you cook that? And kind of get some good tips. And within all of that, I want to say it's a both and. We can do it all. You don't have to drop everything and start spending all of your money at farmers markets. You can try a little bit and build it into your routine. So.
Yeah. Molly, I asked that question just for the person out there that's like, why farmers markets? Because I was already sold, but you kind of sold me even more.
Yeah.
Every time I was like, yeah. Asking the vendor, how do I cook this or what do I do with this? I find kind of amazing, because everything's in season, and sometimes you're just like, I don't know what a rutabaga is, or I don't know what this weird looking radish, amazing, but weird looking
so
radish.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just wonderful to have someone to be like, well, this is how you do it. I wanted to ask you something. I know that you've worked, in Portland managing farmers markets. So is it controversial to ask you which Portland area farmers markets are your personal favorites? They know your face. Will you get banned if you don't say their? Because I'm just curious, what's Molly's, picks?
Yeah. I'm going to give you a few different markets and a few different categories. I feel like it is totally controversial, and that's why I'm here. So
maybe we'll just blur your voice, so it's
well, I think a lot of things, in some ways, the best farmers market is the one that is the closest to you, or the easiest to get to, or the time of day and day of week it is that works with your schedule, right? So thankfully in the Portland area, we have a bunch of different farmers markets in different locations on different days. So I think if you want a kind of traditional weekend market, so a Saturday or a Sunday, two that I really love are the Hollywood Farmers Market in Hollywood in the Northeast. That's this really just kind of what you think of as a farmer's market. There's, kids running around. There's an old dude playing the guitar. There's, lots of different vendors, I think, who you often can't find at other farmers markets, which is not always the case. And just really feels at the heart of that community. The Montavilla Market in Montavilla in Southeast Portland on Sunday mornings is also really lovely. It opens at 10. So if you want to sleep in a little bit, you don't have to be one of those people who gets up at the crack of dawn. And also just an awesome mix of vendors. The Come Through Farmers Market, which is every other Monday in the afternoons at the Red in the Southeast. Has like the best vibe of any farmer's market. So it's Portland's only Black and Brown and Indigenous run farmer's market, and really supports those businesses and those communities. So like they have a resident DJ, they have a free table. And, the market is really designed to be an incubator to support these businesses and kind of help these Black and Brown, farmers and food artisans kind of develop their businesses. So that's really rad. If you want a weekday market, I think that the Szymanski Park Farmers Market downtown is like on the park blocks. It's in the trees. It's shady. It's beautiful. There's like a guy with a wood-fired pizza oven. You can get they get the little vegetables and put it on the pizza. So that's fun. And then let's see, I think if you want to go out of town, because, the metro area is big, I would recommend on the east side, the Oregon City Farmers Market is fantastic and also very, very big, lots of different things. Highly recommended. On the west side, the Forest Grove Farmers Market is run by Adelante Mujeres and is just this fantastic incubator that the nonprofit helps support Latinx businesses, farmers, and hot food vendors. So that's really special. And to wrap it all up, I will shout out the Cully Farmers Market, my neighborhood farmers market, which is coming back in 2023. It's just like a short walk from my house and just so nice to like stroll about, get some food. Yeah.
I love the Cully Farmers Market, but I also find it interesting because I feel like most people that I know in Cully have like their small urban little farm on their lot anyhow. There are like so many farmers markets, but there are certain farmers markets that are known for very specific vendors because they're not just selling like lettuce and apples, like they're selling like this amazing lavender honey, and it's all these specific people, even like food trucks where you're just like, you can only get this burrito here or whatever. So like I know people who make a special trip to the King Farmers Market to visit who they call the Blueberry Lady.
Oh yeah,
because they think her blueberries are the best in town. They also are just like, and she's spicy, like she's like they kind of like having her tell them off in a weird way, like you're standing too close to the blueberries. But I was wondering if you could give us some tips like of your favorite vendors and like where they are, like which markets are known for what.
Yes, let me just give you a few. And I feel like this is also like farmers markets are dynamic. They're always changing. If the Blueberry Lady is probably only at the market for like 6 weeks when it's blueberry season. So I'll give you a taste. One of the vendors that I love, and this is like just to Portland, is there's a vendor called Squirrel and Crow that makes soy-free tempeh. I don't know if you've ever had fresh tempeh.
I've never had fresh tempeh.
It's just so good. It's fantastic. It's like a different taste and a texture. It's so good. And they go to the Hollywood Market. It's made of like millet and chickpeas and like.
Oh, that sounds so good. Yeah. I love tempeh.
Yeah.
Nice.
You gotta do it. It's so good. At the Woodstock Market, there are 2 vendors that I love. One of them is called Alamin. It's Somali hot food. And they make these things called sambusas that are kind of like a samosa, but they have like dal inside of them. And there's this like spicy, like hot sauce that you dip them in. They are just like the best breakfast. And they also have a knife sharpener who is like it's amazing. You just like go to the market, you bring your knives. He was a samurai. He was on like some reality TV show about making knives. And he just sharpens them at market.
Wait, what's his name?
Dragonfly Forge. His name is Gabe.
I wish that all like farmers markets had knife sharpeners because I'm so lazy with sharpening mine.
It makes such a big difference.
And it's also just would be so cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sold on that one.
Yes.
Anything else, Molly?
Let's see. I got a few more I'm going to lift up. At the St. John's Market, there's a red.
Hey, sorry. St. John's. Yeah. Okay, go on.
Solstice Flower is a no-till flower farm, and they just grow these like beautiful otherworldly flowers and then make these like fantastic bouquets. And so it's like an agricultural product that isn't food that I think is so fun. And then the Montevilla Market has a kulfi business. So it's a Indian popsicle.
Popsicles are perfect for this weather.
Yeah, and they just come in these wonderful flavors. There's like pistachio and rose and then like local fruits. And so That's a great treat.
That sounds awesome. I've never heard of that. Now I want it.
I think it's called Coolfee PDX is the business. Yes, 10 out of 10.
All right, let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, financial assistance programs that will help you shop at farmers markets. So for those who are listening, are like, yeah, farmers markets are rad. They could be expensive, because it's not like a supermarket that's buying at bulk.
Yeah.
So sometimes you are paying 50 cents, sometimes 75 cents more for certain things. And it adds up. So I know at one point you were the director of the Farmers Market Fund that worked on the SNAP matching program. And that's Oregon's food stamp program for those not familiar with SNAP. Are there other financial assistance programs for shoppers who might be cash strapped but still want the fun of shopping at a farmer's market?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that program called Double Up Food Bucks, which is a SNAP matching program, is going to be a great way to go. So for anyone who's on SNAP or is receiving pandemic EBT, they provide a dollar for dollar match up to $20 every day. And you can just go to your farmer's market and get twice as much produce. So that's fantastic.
That's so cool.
It's so rad.
That is amazing. Right? Okay, go on.
Yeah. It is amazing. It's so amazing. And that's just money that's also going, you're getting free fruits and veggies, and then farmers are making all this extra money. So it's this beautiful, beautiful cycle. But yeah, if you are receiving WIC, or if you're a senior, there's a program called the Farm Direct Nutrition Program. We love our acronyms. And it's a series of vouchers you can get where you can get free fruits and veggies at area farmers markets. And that's run through the Oregon Health Authority. A lot of farmers, so this is where, those are kind of the programs that happen everywhere, but then this is where farmers markets start to become these hyper local projects that really support their communities and kind of see what the needs are. So some of them have matches for vets. Some of them have programs called Power of Produce or POP programs. So if kids are going to farmers markets, they get little tokens where they can basically buy their own fruits and veggies at the farmers market, kind of to get them to, learn about shopping for themselves and eating fresh produce.
So people should probably go on the website of where whatever farmers market they're going to go and just see if there's any kind of program that they could tap into.
Totally.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, I think
that's awesome.
The other thing is, as a shopper for anybody, the ways to kind of stretch your money the farthest would be buy stuff when it's in the peak of the season. So if you're buying the first pint of strawberries that's at market, you might be so excited to finally see strawberries again. But those will probably be at a premium because it's in limited quantity. But if you wait till the middle of the season when there's tons and tons of tomatoes, you could probably get a big box of tomatoes for much less.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. I'm the one that buys the strawberries for $10. That's a good, because you've also worked at farms, so you know this. I'm this is I'm sorry. I hope everyone's writing this down. This is not common sense for most people. And this is an important question. For someone who's maybe not familiar with shopping at farmers markets at all, could you share some etiquette or kind of unspoken ground rules for not annoying vendors and other shoppers? Because I know right off the bat you shouldn't be manhandling the produce like you do at grocery stores. I feel like grocery stores allowed us to just be wild animals with produce, because even if you don't think you are totally bruising certain fruit, and that makes it harder for the vendor to sell it to the next person. I've been told, not yelled at, but been told that you touch with your eyes.
Yes, or opening every ear of corn to see if it's good inside.
Don't do that. Are there other little just etiquette that with your vast experience in farms and farmers markets that you would pass on?
Totally. So I think the first thing that I like to do when I'm going to a farmer's market that either I haven't been to before or I have been to is I feel like my inclination is to just get snazzled by stuff and want to start buying. But I try to do a round and a walkabout before I start, because inevitably you're going to find something, right after you bought your strawberries, someone has them for cheaper, or they look better, or it's a bigger box, something that's more aligned to what you want. So I think starting out by getting your cup of coffee, doing your little stroll around, I think is a good way to start. bring cash. I think at this point we live in this cashless economy, but just like it's nice to tip your servers with cash, I think that if you do have cash, I mean, most vendors at most farmers markets are able to, have their little square, but I think if you have cash, that is appreciated. And just to kind of realize that you are not at a grocery store, and to have a bit more of like a creative spirit and a flexibility and understanding that things might look a little bit different than what, you're finding, where literally things have to be grown so they like stack perfectly.
Right.
I think a few things that as a farmer at farmers markets used to kind of drive me crazy.
Ooh, I can't wait. Gone.
Don't go like the last minute that the market is open and try to get stuff for free.
Oh, that happens?
All the time. They're like, oh, it looks like you're just going to take that home and compost it. Let me help you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like those, it's up to those farmers. They might make jam out of it. They might take it to the market tomorrow. They might, there's this really cool thing that happens when you're a vendor at a farmer's market where everyone trades with each other with whatever they have left at the end of the day. And so like maybe they wanted to take their bunches of kale and like get a burrito, Don't just, just don't do it.
Yeah, that's so tacky. Yeah.
I think there can be this, on both ends. Sometimes like farmers markets start early. And so you look at your watch and you're like, oh shit, it's 2 p.m. I got to race to the market and it's almost closed. Or on the other hand, you just like can't wait to get your asparagus. And so you get there early. I think if you can, trying to not shop before it's opened or not try to shop after it's closed is like a really kind thing to do, because people are either, racing to get their stuff set up before the starting time, or they're just like tired as can be and want to pack up and drive 3 hours home. So that's a nice thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like be mindful of your dogs.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah. Like it's a nice place to have a dog, and also it's a grocery store that's crowded outside. So just have some self-awareness if you are a person who takes your dog to the farmer's market.
Yeah, these are all excellent. I feel like I'm the one that sometimes comes in like really late and I'm just like, hello. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably really annoying. Not asking for free stuff, but just like wanting to get my shop.
I'm here.
So it's like, yeah, they're like, congratulations. Well, I just wanted to thank you profusely for spending, your morning with us. Really appreciate it. It's seriously, I've been wanting to meet you ever since, John said that he had a sister and she lived in Portland. I was like, what? Bring her here. So this is really exciting. Yay. Thank you so much, Molly.
Thank you so much. It was such a treat. Yeah, my pleasure.
And now for your microdose of news. After the last few weeks of hot, dry weather, firefighters are now preparing for an early fire season. Fire officials say that our initial rainy spring led to rapid growth of potential fuel, which is now drying out. And more Oregonians than ever are in the state's highest income tax bracket, which for individuals is if you're making more than $125,000 per year. Only 1.5% of Oregonians hit that tax bracket in 2010, but we're now at over 5% in 2021. Nearly half the state's income tax revenue comes from that small percentage of taxpayers, making economists project an extra $2 billion in state revenue over the next 2 years. For even more local news and events, sign up for our daily newsletter, Hey Portland. We'll throw a link in the show notes. That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.